What up, gang? Happy 2024. I hope you guys are having a great year so far, and I hope this year is full of nothing but blessings for you. If you guys fish cold water, and by cold I mean 45 degrees or below for largemouth bass, you're probably going to want to watch this. We're talking about a sneaky bait today that flies under the radar. We're talking about the tube, specifically in the smoke purple color. This ain't no smallmouth video. We're talking about largies. Let's go. I'm casting it in there and letting it fall. And there's a fish on it. There it goes. Just came loose. Say cheese. Some of y'all out there might be saying, this is a video about tubes. I don't fish tubes. Well, let me tell you what. If you fish cold water, this is something you're going to want to look into. I learned about this bait, I don't know, 2 years ago, something around there, where I started fishing this specific bait on a chatterbait. That's a fish. That's a fish. That is a fish. Nice. That's the first fish in this pond in a minute. That is a chattertube fish. Now, that's a different video for a different time when we're talking about the tube on the chatterbait. Now, I'm not the only guy that knows about this secret. I'm not the only guy that knows about this trick. This guy, he may know something about fishing. What do you think?
This is the time of year when I pull out the magic tube. So, the magic tube is something I tried to keep secret for a while. You guys know the deal, though. Basically, just that smoke purple tube. It looks stupid. You guys might be like, oh, he's talking about smallmouth fisheries. How does this apply to me? No. There's something about this on the bottom of the lake. I don't know if it represents a shad or a crawdad. They eat the shit out of this thing. This year, I was able to put this bait to the test on Thanksgiving weekend in some 40-degree water. I want to share that with you guys. Check this out. This is where we're going to spend the next hour, people. I'm going to go see if there's a paddle. Got some trusty oars in hand. Got our canoe. Nice and muddy. It's all right. Sometimes you gotta get a little dirty to do the things you want to do. Right? Look at that shoe. There you go. There's some mud and muck for you. We're going to try Mr. Black Jig with Mr. Thunderhawk Craw for shits and giggles. Not in the tree. Ah, and there goes my fancy bug. Oh, all right, looks like Mr. Tube it is. Come here, water skier. Smoking it. Finally got into a little area and found some better quality fish. Coming on old Mr. Stupid Tube. I like it. Nice. Hey y'all, one of the first things to understand about having success with this technique in the wintertime is to recognize where you're going to be fishing. And in the wintertime, fish are going to be drawn to cover and structure, which means you're going to be fishing around wood, you're going to be fishing around rocks. And if you try and fish your standard tube jig in that type of cover, you're going to get hung up pretty easy. What I do is I fish my tube stupid style.
which means I'm using an EWG tube jig head like this so I can fish it around wood and cover without easily getting snagged. All right, guys, here's going to be a pretty quick rigging method on how to rig this stupid style. So first and foremost, to do this, instead of going in lead first, I'm going to be going in hook point first. So I take my thumbnail and I kind of say, I line up the edge of the tube with the edge of my thumbnail here, and then I line up this with this, and I am going to bring my tube jig, my hook point in. I'm going to kind of come out where the edge of my thumb is. Now I'm going to wet down my lead head. I'm going to pull that moistened lead head in, and I'm going to pull that hook almost all the way out. Now I'm going to finagle this so that this lead is all the way at the head of the bait, like this. Now this is how it's pretty much going to look when I'm done. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to line this up, make sure this is straight. This hook point goes through the tube there. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to use my thumbnails and separate that plastic. And now I can take my hook point and I can bury it in the front of my jig, in the front of my tube. So now I'm completely weedless. And it's not completely weedless, it's not completely snagless, but it's going to help you tremendously. And there's some brush around here because I'm hung up in it right now. There it goes, just came loose. And a bass smacked it. This feels like a decent one too. Man, he inhaled it too. He inhaled it. He wasn't playing around. Thanks for dragging me into the tree, buddy. I appreciate you. But yeah, that's where they are. I prefer to fish a tube on spinning tackle. That's just my personal preference. My preference is a 2500 size spinning reel, or a 3000, or even a 4000. That size specifically because I'm fishing a larger braid. I'm fishing a 12 or even a 15 or a 20 pound braid. When you're fishing braid that size, you want a larger spool size so you can make long casts. I'm fishing that on a 7-foot medium fast action rod. I would suggest a medium or a medium fast. Again, we're fishing this around cover, and we're fishing a bait that's predominantly on bottom, and we're looking to drive a hook home. This isn't a bait that has treble hooks where you're doing sweep sets. You're typically jacking the fish. So you need a rod that's got the backbone, and then you need that type of tip that's going to respond very quickly to help you drive that hook home. There you go, Uncle Dave. That's a good one. Get in here. Oh. Man. They're not there. Some of them are hitting it hard, some of them are not. Still a ton of fun. How am I working this is a really good question to be asking right now. Really cold water, mid 40s, low 40s, high 30s, nothing's moving fast. It's really just a slow drag. And occasionally I would shake my slack without trying to move this, which may, cause it to move side to side a little bit, but not very aggressively at all. I'm not even working the tube. I'm casting it in there and letting it fall. And there's a fish on it. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't want to blow up my hole. Get me out of here. is so funny. Just got a little bit of mud in the bottom of the boat. Oh, homie. There you go. Here's a little makeover for you. When I started fishing cold water when I moved to the Midwest a few years ago, I learned a couple of golden rules. And the first thing to ask yourself is, where am I going to fish? What area of a pond or lake or stream or river am I going to focus on? The areas that make the most sense are the ones that are going to get the most direct sunlight throughout the day. That is typically going to be the western bank or the western shore, or the northern bank or the northern shore. As the sun rises in the east, the first bank that's going to get hit with sunlight is going to be the west, and then because of the angle of the sun, the north is typically going to get the most sunshine. So logically thinking, those areas are going to warm up the fastest, which means the food chain is going to get activated the fastest, but it's not always the case. And this day on this pond was a perfect example. And the curveball this day was the wind, right? So the sun is hitting the top of the water column, it's heating that area up, but the wind on this day is blowing from the northwest to the southeast. It's blowing directly into this cove. So that wind is actually taking that warm water and blowing it in this direction, which I feel made the bass more active in this area. Yeah, they're eating the tube. Fishing the magic tube in the wintertime is something that I really, really want to encourage you guys to do. I'm really interested to know if it works for you too. So if you guys try this out and it helps you, let me know on social media, let me know on my Facebook page or my Instagram page, or drop me a comment here in this video. That would be awesome. And if you guys want to know how powerful the tube, or specifically the stupid tube, can be for smallmouth bass fishing, go ahead and check this video out right here. Hope you guys are fishing, hope you're catching. Until next time, tight lines, stay fishy.